Garrett J. White, the authentic entrepreneur, coming at you real, raw, and relevant. And this, my friends, is the Daily Download. So today we're going to be discussing principle number 2 here of the 7 core fundamental principles of the Paid to Play Academy. But in order to do that, we've got to bring out our handy dandy flip chart. Now to do this, we've been slowing it down this week. So this time I'm going to do the slow snap. Are you ready? Are you ready? Wow. I'll tell you what, the slow snap and the slow clap, they seem to be working. Let's see if we can do some other creative stuff this week. Let's talk about principle number 2 here, though. Permission activates potential. In this principle, I'm going to teach you a story or an example that occurred today, or a few days ago. So I was having an opportunity to go watch my daughter, who's almost 4 years old, go to her gymnastics class. And in gymnastics, you've got all these little girls who are almost 4 years of age. They're in these tiny little tights, they're little gymnastics things, and they're all excited, and they're jumping around, and they're more excited to be around each other than they are actually to do gymnastics. But my daughter, on the other hand, tends to be a little more physically advanced than most kids her age. She's a little bit taller, she's a little bit bigger, she's a little bit more advanced. Well, of course, why shouldn't she? She's my daughter. Anyways, we get into the class, and she's an older class with 5 and 6-year-olds, and she's standing on the balance beam, and I'm watching the instructor walk through and guide her how to do some different things with her foot and bring it up to her knee and kick it out and then walk forward on the balance beam and kind of the whole 9 yards. If you're familiar with that, then great. If not, then I understand. But it was interesting because my daughter was standing on the beam. She wanted to try a couple different things that were different than what the other kids were doing. And I noticed this interesting dynamic happen, this struggle between my daughter and the instructor. Her coach was saying, do it this way. My daughter was saying, screw you, I want to do it this way. And her coach was saying, you need to do it this way. And she was saying, pretty much, screw you, I'm going to do it my own way. And it was funny to watch them because there was a power struggle for permission. Now, the coach was working with my daughter in order to activate the highest amount of potential that she thought my daughter had, right? Based upon the permission of this is how you do it. These are the rules of how you do it. If you're going to do it, this is the way you do it. My daughter, on the other hand, had her own way of doing it. So she sat there and she did it the coach's way. The coach instructed her and she went about it, etc., and she did pretty good. Well, then she switched to another part of the classroom and there was a balance beam. She was doing it on her own. And my daughter stood up on the balance beam and did it her way while the coach was working with some other people on the other side. The crazy thing was, my daughter freaking nailed it. So it was an interesting thing to sit in the little bleachers there and watch what happened, because the most powerful permission that was given was not the permission given to her by a coach that you can do this. Though at times it's the outside borrowed light from another human being that gives us the energy that we need in order to ultimately believe enough in ourselves to go. But at the end of the day, the greatest permission slip that's ever given to us to activate our divine potential is what? The permission to be ourselves and to do it the way that feels intuitive to us. Running and training for Ironmans and ultramarathons, this constantly is occurring with me. People are constantly saying, well, Garrett, how about this and how about this? And I say, listen, what I go off of is what works for my body. And I give myself permission to go faster or to go slower, not based upon what my GPS watch says or my heart rate monitor or what some magazine from somebody who's not my body tells me I should or shouldn't do, but really in the space giving myself permission based upon how I feel. So the principle for today's download is this. When you look at your life, how often is the permission being waited upon from other people? How often are you waiting to give yourself the permission? Just like my daughter on the balance beam, struggling with those who are, quote, in control, who know what's best for you. And at the same time, how many times are you allowing your own permission, the permission from your divinity within, to give you access to the greatest power you could ever have, which is the truthfulness of who you are and what feels right to you in the next moment, what feels right to you in this moment of now to take your next step. How often are you surrendering it? What is the cost for surrendering that divine truth? What is the cost for surrendering that power? Well, I'll tell you what, in my experience, it's life, it's beauty, it's peace, and it's power. So today, chime in down below and let us know what are some of the ways in which you find yourself both reclaiming your permission and activating your potential, and what are some of the ways that you find other people around you trying to suppress you and tell you that permission is not available in you, it has to come from outside of you. My name is Garrett J. White, and this has been the Daily Download.